Hi everybody, my name is Megan. I'm here at the Leonardo today to talk to you about sensory bottles, or calm down bottles as they're sometimes called, for today's sensory friendly day. So you probably have heard of calm down bottles before, but usually when you see them online they're full of fun things like glitter and oil and water and food coloring, and sometimes we just don't have those things at home. And today, as we're getting ready to go back to school, whether it's virtual or in person, sometimes having something that can help us calm down a little bit or give us a different sensory experience can be really helpful. So today I'm going to show you a couple ways to make sensory bottles at home with things that you might have around the house. So the first thing you need to do is find a container. So I've got a few examples here that are all different shapes and sizes, and you can use whatever kind of container you have at home. So you might have some clear water bottles like this one that has some fun water in it. You might have a glass bottle. I even have these teeny tiny ones that you could use, or a big jar like this. Maybe like a peanut butter jar or a pasta sauce jar could be used as a sensory jar. So once you have your container, the next thing to do is to make sure that it can seal tightly. So you can see my clear water bottle like this has a loose lid. So when I fill it, I just wrap some duct tape around the top. Another thing that you might be able to do is use a hot glue gun, but sometimes that's not very useful either if you don't have those things at home. So today, the things that we're going to put in our sensory bottles are things that I found around the museum and you might have at home too. So some of the materials that we have are paper clips. We've got some cut up pipe cleaners. We've got googly eyes, always a fun craft supply. This is just cut up straws. You could even find these in takeout containers or just around your house. We've got dried black beans, buttons, and then some little toy animals. So a couple of the bottles that I have here today, I've already made. Like this big one has some water that I've used some food coloring in, my blue food coloring that's right there, some rocks, some seashells, and some buttons. And then I also have a little foam fish in there that you can't see because that one floats. So this bottle is good because it's heavy, it has some different textures in it, it makes different sounds. You can try to get the fish to see where its face is. Lots of different ways you can use it. Another one that I have here, in my little tiny one, is filled with black beans and some googly eyes. A good way to use this one is to figure out how many eyes are in the container and count how many you can see facing out and how many are facing in. You can shake it, you can roll it around, lots of different ways to use it. This one that I have here has pipe cleaners and paper clips in it. This one's fun because if you have a magnet at home, you can test out what things will be magnetized and you can move around with the magnet. But if not, it's also just fun to look at and to move around. This one just has some buttons and a little bit of blue food coloring in the water. It's pretty full of buttons, so you can spin it around and see how many different colors you can see. You can try to count the buttons. Lots of different things to calm down. And then this one's actually a glass bottle, which is not always the best thing to use for sensory bottles, but it can be fun to use. I didn't put any water in this one, but it has a bunch of different things in it. And as you can see, my theme for this one is blue, so I picked lots of different blue materials. And in here I have buttons, which you might be able to hear, some straws, and some paper. So I can look at it and see all the different shades of blue. I can shake it, and you can hear the buttons rattling around. So this one provides a little bit of a different sensory experience. So today I'm going to put one together with you just to show you one way that we can do this. So some things that are nice to have when you're doing this are a measuring cup like this. If you're using water especially, sometimes you will see people put oil or hand soap in it that can help thicken the water and make things move a little bit slower. So having one that's microwave safe that you can warm up the water a little bit can be helpful to help mix those things together. But today I'm going to do a dry one, so I don't need this one quite yet. Now, one thing that is helpful is a funnel. So this is just a plain old radiator funnel that I found. So I'm going to use it to help me fill up my bottle with some popcorn kernels that I found. So I think I'm going to do popcorn kernels and maybe some straws in it. So we'll see when I get some of the popcorn kernels in, get a layer in, and then I'll choose which ones I want to do next. So I'm going to hold my funnel over the top. That can help with getting the popcorn kernels where I want them to be. So let's pour those in. I'm going to leave it just about like that for now, and I'm going to add something else in. I think I'm gonna add some straws in now. So I'm gonna take those, and this is a great fine motor activity. So if you're working on fine motor skills, this could be a great activity to do at home too. So I'm gonna just drop those in the top. Let's see, I've got 5 in there. Do a few more. 6, 7, 8, 9, and one more just for good measure. So I've got my straws in there now on top of my popcorn kernels, and now I'm gonna put a few more popcorn kernels on top. So I'll put some more in. All right, now I think I'm going to do a few buttons. So this is another great fine motor exercise. I have some different size buttons in here. So I have some big ones, and then I have some little bit smaller ones, and then I even have teeny tiny buttons. So this is a great opportunity to see which ones fit and which ones don't. Pretty sure this one's not gonna fit in this bottle, so I'll set that one aside, but I'm pretty sure this one will, so I can drop it right in there. We'll add a few more in. And I think that should be good. So we'll add a few more popcorn kernels in. And let me see, what else can I add? Maybe I'll add a few googly eyes to this one. So, drop a few in the top there. All right, and then I'm gonna pour some more popcorn kernels into my cup so I can get a few more in there. One more layer of popcorn kernels. Make sure I'm filling it. All right, I want a little bit of room at the top so that when I shake it, things will actually move around. Now, we'll put the lid on here. And the great thing about these sensory bottles is that if you don't like them, you can always dump them out and try again. So, can shake it around and see what I can find. So I can see some buttons there. There's a little bit of a straw in my eyes. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some duct tape on it to seal it up. Okay. Just need a little bit of a strip for that one. Make sure that it's nice and snug on the bottle so it doesn't open. And there we go, that one is done. So this one is a great one to occupy your time and try to find all the different things that are in it. So there's one sensory bottle done for today. When you're at home, if you don't have any bottles, another great way to make sensory containers or sensory things of some sort is to use Ziploc bags. So you can use just a clear bag that you have at home and fill it with whatever you want. A lot of people choose to use like a shampoo or a hair gel of some sort because it's squishy and can provide that soft texture to see what things move around in it. So for example, I made this one that's filled with this yellow shampoo, and I put buttons in it to squish around, and you can see where they go. You can count how many buttons there are. The fun thing about these ones is that sometimes you can tape them on a window and see the light shine through and see the different textures that way too. And this one's really squishy, so it's kind of fun to move around and see what happens when you squish it. So there are some different ideas for sensory bottles. We'll make sure to post some pictures of the different ones that I've made today in the comments below. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. Thank you to Vivint for sponsoring our sensory days. Hope you have fun building your sensory bottles.